There are 5 reasons you might want to avoid the brand new RX 6400. In yesterday's video, we covered the top 5 reasons why you might want to consider it, but I happened to leave out a lot of the negatives that this card comes with, so we're going to cover those today. The 6400 is an odd card for many reasons. AMD officially launched this back in January, but decided not to bring it out to the consumer market until April. And that leads me to point 1 here. This card kind of shows that AMD is willing to take advantage of their customer base right now. Considering everything that's going on in the GPU market, this card is well priced at $170. But considering everything that's happened in the history of GPUs, this card is horrendously priced considering the performance that you're getting here in 2022. AMD is willing to actually take advantage of that, and not only are they willing to launch a low-end card for ridiculous amounts of money, but they're also willing to strip so many features of it. This essentially is a laptop graphics card that they decided to put into a desktop GPU format and call it a day. NVIDIA doesn't happen to be doing this. They're just avoiding the low-end segment altogether, which is a problem, but it does show a difference in practice between the two companies. And the one time that Intel decided to put a laptop GPU into a desktop card, they made sure to lock it down to specific motherboards so that you were only getting it when you purchased a complete desktop. They were not selling it as a standalone. AMD is deciding that they want to do that, and I think it's not a particularly customer-centric move, even if this card makes a lot of sense right now. If the prices of GPUs continue to decline, it is actually going to be a stain on their ability to convince their customers that they're not going to try to take advantage of the scalping situation. Reason number 2 the 6400 might want to be skipped is that it's slower than 5-year-old tech. You can easily pick up something like an RX 570 4GB right now for $140, $150 used over on eBay, and you're gonna get 10% better performance. This card wipes the floor with this, even though the MSRPs were actually roughly close. So the fact that this is the card that AMD is deciding they want to charge you $170 for is a hard pill to swallow, considering something like the 570 actually still beats it. And that brings me to number 3. The price on this card is too damn high. It costs $170, which works in a broken market. And it only works in a broken market. This card should be sub $100 given where it falls in the position of AMD's own lineup. This is essentially the RX 460 560, which is closer to $100. That would make a lot more sense, and the only reason I can even consider to make a 5 positive reasons you should buy this video is because I'm gonna be realistic with the scenario that we are in a broken GPU system. But if prices continue to decline, if the market continues to recover, if NVIDIA decides to release a successor to the GTX 16 series, we actually might have a vastly different conversation about this card. Now, number 4 is going to talk about the reason why this card is actually good. It's brand new architecture from AMD. You can get it new with warranty. You can actually get everything that RDNA 2 has to offer, but some of those things RDNA 2 has to offer shouldn't exist. The key point here is that ray tracing is enabled on this card. The new architecture supports it, but it's absolutely awful. It's not a reason to buy this card at all. We tested it out in Cyberpunk 2077, and we got 11 FPS at 1080p medium. It was awful. It was horrendous. Even though something like a 570 can't even handle it, it's not even worth having on the card. And considering the other feature sets that AMD stripped from their own card, which is we're gonna talk about heavily in number 5, it doesn't make sense to me why it's continuing to be enabled on this card. It really only serves to be a test demo of something bad that AMD has. But as I'm crapping all over the 6400, in case you're looking to pick up any other card out on the internet, you should check out today's video sponsor, Honey. Today's video is sponsored by Honey. My friends, Honey is your online shopping best friend. It's the browser extension that can save you money while you're shopping on the internet. It's the free browser extension that scours the internet to find you promo codes and automatically test them while you're checking out. Here's how it works, super simple. You go to joinhoney.com/UFDtech on your computer. It's free. In 2 easy clicks, you install it. And then when you're checking out on one of its 30,000 supported sites, Honey pops up, and all you have to do is click apply coupon. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for the coupons for that site. And if Honey finds a working code, you'll watch the prices drop. I had so many people tell me that they use this while shopping on lttstore.com, and they found code UFD, not because I gave it to them, but because Honey gave it to them, and they saved money Honey on their lttstore.com purchase. And in fact, those of you who have installed Honey using my link have found over $54,000 in savings so far. And Honey supports all kinds of retailers, whether it's lttstore.com, tech, gaming sites, clothing brands, even food delivery. You can find ways to save using them. Get Honey free today by going to joinhoney.com/UFDtech. Big thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. Now, number 5 is the main reason I really don't like this card, and it's the same reason why the 6500 XT is also a bad choice. It is only good enough for games because AMD has removed feature sets such as the ability to do H.264 encoding. And considering how easy it is to be a content creator these days, they are removing a feature set that could be widely available to people who don't have enough money to buy higher end stuff. But instead, the fact that this can't actually support rendering out videos hardware accelerated in Premiere Pro means that people are better off buying the competition. Comparing a 1080p H.264 render that was 14 minutes long on the 6400 versus the 570 versus the 1650. The 6400 rendered out a 14-minute video in 16 minutes, below real time. The RX 570 and GTX 1650, on the other hand, rendered out that same video in just under 10 minutes, so faster than real time. And while it's not necessarily something that you can't actually do on the card, it was primarily relying on the CPU. The CPU was pegged to 100% and the GPU was irrelevant at that point. If you want to do more than just play video games at medium to low settings, then considering a card besides the 6400 makes a lot of sense. The GTX 1650 is a better all-around vehicle for you. The 6400 might only be 2% slower in games, but it is substantially slower if you're trying to do anything when it comes to encoding video, which I have heard the arguments that you shouldn't want a feature like that on such a cheap card, but my point is that they're removing feature sets like that. I can easily get the same feature set on a card that cost roughly the same and came out 5 years ago. AMD is removing features, they're charging too much, they're taking advantage of their consumers in a broken market just because they can get away with it, and the competition's not even trying to do anything. I think the 6400 is the epitome of AMD's bad faith towards their consumers, and I disagree with it existing at the price point it does. If it came in under $100, I'd be a bit more happy about it. But if you want to see the reasons why you should buy this card, go check out this video right up here.